As you know, all the scholars of Islam, regardless to what school of thought they belong, they have the same creed, the same belief. So if you are Hanafi and I'm Shafi'i, that doesn't make your belief different from my belief. The belief is the same. If you are Maliki and that one is Hanbali, that doesn't make you different in beliefs. You have the same belief. But the scholars of Islam who established the schools of thought, like Shafi'i, Hanafi, Maliki, Hanbali, deduce different judgments from the inexplicit text regarding some rules. So that, between the brackets, only in what is called Islamic jurisprudence, al-Fiqh. For if someone touches the skin of his wife, does that invalidate his wudu? It's not mentioned explicitly in the Quran that whoever touches the skin of his wife, that would invalidate his wudu. It's not mentioned in that way. In the hadith, the Prophet did not state, and it wasn't authenticated that the Prophet said whoever touches the skin of his wife, his wudu becomes invalidated. It's not mentioned in that way. Here, the scholars of Islam will try to work out, to deduce the judgment based on the verses of the Quran and the hadith of the Prophet. Imam Shafi'i said, for instance, that invalidates one's wudu. Also, Imam Abu Hanifah said, one doesn't invalidate his wudu if he touches the skin of his wife. So they have a different judgment regarding this case. Why? Because it's not mentioned explicitly in the Quran and in the hadith. In such matters, you might find the differences between the schools of thought. But when it comes to the belief of Ahlu Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the belief of all Muslims is one. From east to west, from north to south. All Muslims around the world, those who are on the right path, they have the same belief. The one who has a wrong belief, a blasphemous belief, you cannot call him Muslim, even if his name is Muhammad, even if his name is Abdullah, even if his name is Ahmad. That doesn't make him Muslim. The name is not what makes a person a Muslim. What makes you a Muslim is to have the correct belief in your heart about Allah and His Messenger. There are some people around the world these days who claim to be Muslims, but when you try to understand what do they believe, you will find out that they have false beliefs. One example is, for instance, you know that some people falsely claim that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sitting on the throne. They believe that Allah is sitting. They believe that Allah has organs. They believe that Allah has a body and shape. They believe that Allah moves from one place to another. They attribute to Allah eyes, ears, head, hands, legs. So what they believe about Allah, they believe that there is something like a human being, and they think that is God, that is Allah. Those cannot be classified as Muslims. We cannot consider them Muslims because what they believe is in contrary to the belief of Ahlu Sunnah wal Jama'ah, in contrary to the Quran. It's enough to recite this verse, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, which means nothing resembles Allah in any way. So that ayah is enough by itself as proof for Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah that Allah is not attributed with shape, volume, quantity, organs, dimensions, limits. It's enough because لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, nothing resembles Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in any way. That's why the scholars of Islam said, whatever you imagine in your mind, Allah doesn't resemble it. Because what you can imagine is a picture that comes into your mind. And who's the creator of that picture that came into your mind? Allah. So Allah created a picture in your heart. So if you worship that picture that you imagined in your heart, you won't be worshipping Allah. You will be worshipping the picture that Allah created in your heart. That's why Imam al-Ghazali said, whoever worships something that he imagined in his mind, let him know that he's not worshipping Allah. In fact, he's worshipping that image that he imagined. He won't be worshipping Allah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not something that you can imagine in your mind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator. We cannot comprehend everything. We cannot imagine everything. We can imagine only the matters that we got used to.